Welcome back, everyone, to this series of game between HuK and SJW. This was what I believed to be a best of five, but it seems I'm wrong, as I do have more replays. Uh, HuK not able to do anything to stop SJW's huge Marine Marauder force, as it looks like that's what Terran players are going now since the patch nerfed siege tanks. So, no more siege tanks for Terran. At least the games I've seen, at least in the games I've seen, as it looks like Marine Marauder is the way Terran players are going to be playing. Um, However, I should note that the composition of HuK's wasn't the best to deal with Marines and Marauders. He did get the Stalkers out, or the Colossus out rather, but he didn't get anything to counter the Vikings really. He did have quite a number of Stalkers, but they just were not in position to take out the Vikings. So HuK, I mean, it's hard to say. It looks like he did play it as best as he could. Obviously, he's a pro, but it just seems like there was something else that he was missing. Maybe some Phoenixes. I'm really not sure what he could have done in that position. Obviously, he wasn't either, or he would have did it, or he thought he was doing it. Back over here in SJW's base, if we pull up the production tab, we obviously see the early or standard racks going down, as there should be indeed a standard gateway, as HuK does favor to use his chrono boost on his probes. We've seen that in every game now. HuK does scout in the wrong position. Is going to scout in the wrong position yet again before he finds out that his opponent SJW is in the top left. So not much to say about this these positional spawnings, as I believe it. I mean, it probably is the closest on this map. Granted, if they're not horizontally spawned from each other, there are these rocks that can be taken out and make that distance even much shorter. But I don't know if we're going to see any kind of early expands or anything on this map. They're kind of hard to hold off here for either player, actually, because this high ground can just be detrimental to any StarCraft 2 player, Zerg, Terran, or Protoss. But these rocks can be taken out somewhat quickly and secure this expansion with the protection of these rocks. But I'm sure all of you already knew that, as this game's been out for a while. So looks like HuK doing his very standard worker harass with this probe. No kills on this probe this game. We have seen his probes get kills in the past, which is something you don't really see a lot, but you do in fact see it every once in a while. The Marine, though, looks like it might be trying to juke the probe, as the Marine grabs the watchtower, knows exactly where the probe is. Probe, however, is just going to bounce around the map here, go to the gold, maybe check for some kind of proxy player, something like that. But Reaper's coming out for SJW as this tech lab is finished. Reaper is actually almost done, just hasn't rallied to the front of his base. Over here for HuK, though, since the Reaper build time was increased, patch 1.1, HuK has plenty of time to get out a Stalker. I might even have two Stalkers by the time this Reaper can get down here, or almost two at least. This Zealot and this Stalker are going to, shell away at these destructible rocks here, but it's going to take them a really long time as this Reaper does come in. SJW says, yeah, I'm way too smart. I'm not going to jump down there and get my Reaper killed. Looks like he might just use that Reaper for scouting information rather than to do any kind of harassment, as the Stalker for HuK is already out. Second Stalker going to join the battle to get these rocks taken down. So it looks like HuK might be gearing up for a fast expand, or maybe he just wants to get rid of these rocks altogether, as they just they're just in the way, really. Looks like the Reaper does come down. These Stalkers should see this and get a couple shots on this Reaper, as, yep, it does go down. Two Stalkers shooting at a Reaper just isn't good for the Reaper's health. Two gateway, looks like this might be a, no. Robo Bay coming in kind of late, so looks like HuK generally goes for a 2-gate Robo and then another Robo, but looks like this game he went for the 3 gates before the Robo, maybe to avoid any early pressure his opponent SJW might put on him. But yeah, over here back in SJW's base, 3 racks, 2 gas, just tons of Marines and tons of Marauders. Like I was saying before, it seems to be the way to go now, since siege tanks were nerfed. I mean, this Marine and Marauder ball, I've cast games, other games in the past. I can't remember the players' names right off the top of my head, but it seems like it was hard for them, for a Protoss player to deal with this amount of Marines and Marauders. But we'll see if HuK can pull it off this time. Very nice split, or concave, whatever you want to call it. Even though they're not even in the shape of a concave, they are nicely spread out. You know, to defend and or attack the any kind of pressure that SJW tries to throw at HuK early in this game. This probe and these zealots at the Zilnaga Watchtower knows exactly what SJW is doing. SJW is going to break down these rocks, but be met at the front of HuK, or at the front of HuK's army as soon as he makes it up this ramp. Might even be able to get down a couple of force fields to split up these units. SJW, very smart though, sends in one Marine to not sacrifice his whole army to some kind of force field play by the Protoss player. SJW, for whatever reason, does decide to pull back from that attack as he secures the expansion of his own. Looks like HuK might try to break down these rocks, but no. Observer out for HuK. Gonna move across the map, get all the information it needs to send back to his owner, HuK, as... what the heck? My screen just flickered. 1 second. Okay, it looks like I got that fixed. Sorry about that. So this Marine Marauder army of SJW looks like it might be pushing back in once again, as there are several reinforcements for SJW. HuK sees this, obviously, with this Zilnaga Watchtower, as well as these units here. Looks like there might be a battle going down. One force field, two force fields go down. Really nice. These Marines and Marauders did indeed stem up. Nice force field placement there. These low hit point Marines and Marauders should be very, very easy for HuK to take care of in this instance. More force fields go down. These Marauders cannot really go anywhere. They do stem out of the way. Going to get into the mineral line. No expansion here for HuK, but there are 4 to 5 really, really low hit point units of SJW pushing in. Looks like these warped in stalkers need to turn around, come over here, try to take out some of these units as they are very, very low hit points. Looks like HuK does indeed have this one. Didn't lose very many probes, if any, in that transaction, but HuK says, you know what, here's a counterattack for you. I'm going to pick off these tech labs and these reactors as the army for SJW just isn't what it needs to be. SCV's coming off the mineral line for SJW. No force fields being used to split up this army. Looks like we might see some here, yep. But it looks like there's a little choke here that these units can fit through. Marines and Marauders still able to shell away at these stalkers. HuK does decide to pull back. Needs some kind of proxy pylon to warp in backup units. So if we look at the units lost tab, which I'm not sure what the hotkey for that is, L, that makes sense. Looks like HuK is ahead this game, which is something he hasn't been in the past 3 games of these replays. So just tons and tons of gateway units. Looks like the observer, or the robotics bay, was built for the observer only. SJW tries to take a few shots at these stalkers, but this observer does give spotting onto that high ground. HuK still trying to take out these rocks as he gets that SCV kill. Another SCV, another observer still there, going to be able to pick off a couple more units, it looks like. As HuK, looks like... Yep, took his expansion. If we pull up the production tab, yeah, more Marauders and Medevacs on the way for SJW. These rocks are almost taken down, as they just aren't quite yet. The expenses for this Nexus was indeed a lot, so maybe HuK's waiting on more reinforcements, as it looks like just about half of his army is here. Other half he's not really controlling. Not sure why he's not breaking all these rocks. I guess he isn't ready for any kind of engagement, as he does see this. As he does see everything his opponent SJW has with this observer. And I just realized the P's are really poppy on this, as I do not have a P popper or a windscreen for this microphone. I will have to pick one of those up, because that can be very annoying when you're watching an attack, or when you're watching a game. But there was an attack here to get these rocks out of the way.